Today, I'm going to be giving you guys some tips and tricks for the new game Off the Grid to start winning fights and winning games more often. Let's get started. All these clips are going to be taken from my Twitch channel. I'll have that linked in the description as well as in the comments. The first tip we're going to be going over is the goo and the fire combination. It's one of the only abilities in the game that actually you can combo together. So you put the goo down and then you place the fire over it. So it's the Phosphor Fury and the Slugger abilities. And what that's going to do is it's going to slow your opponents, and it's also going to do fire ticking damage on it, as well as when the grenade explodes, it does a lot of damage if they're close enough to it. So basically what you want to do, if you want to block off a doorway or an entrance, you need to heal up or something, you can place this on the door and then nobody's going to be able to get in. Another use for this combo is, let's say someone's in a corner and you don't need a direct sight line on it, you can put the goo, which is going to make a big circle floor, and then put the fire there to either force them out of the corner or they just die in the fire. So it's a very good utilization skill for newer players or advanced players already. So for the next tip, it's going to be loadout building. So you'll see I have a bunch of loadouts here in the loadout tab. I do have the pro version, so I have a few more than people without that. But if we go into number 1 here, let's say I like to use the Kestrel, but I don't want to find it in game all the time. I can go in here and place that on my class. And then in game, I can call that in. I'm going to have a background clip of that, me buying it after this portion. But you can also put your limbs on here, so your left arm, legs, and right arm, whatever ones you want there, so you don't have to find them in crates. You can just kind of get whatever you want. Now, each item you put in here, you're going to see the price under it. That's going to increase it by that amount. So if I want to put a secondary weapon on here, let's say I want to run sniper shotgun, go in here and place that on there. I actually don't have this. I'm going to do a marketplace guide as well, but let's say I want to put an M4 on here. It's going to cost an additional 1,000. So you can see the total price of it right here. Now if I take that off, it's going to be less. So I have been running just one gun usually, and sometimes arms and legs, but on my class I like to use in game, I like to get it very fast. I just have an M4 on there, so I can kind of loot a few crates off spawn and then drop this in, and then I already have a gun that I really enjoy. So to go along with the last tip, this is going to be the buying portion in game. So I've only looted a few crates this game, and you can see it's very early in the circle, and it only costs 1,500 for my loadout, so you can get that in a few crates. So very early on in the game, I already have my M4, and this is going to be a very strong thing where if you like one gun or a certain gun, like a shotgun or SMG, you can just throw that in your loadout and buy it right off the rip. You don't have to get lucky in finding that off spawn. And in my case, it's a purple M4, so it actually has attachments on it, and it automatically picks up items in there. So if you do have legs and arms equipped, it's gonna drop the current ones you have on and put the ones that are in your class on. So just make sure if you do have arms and legs in there, that they're the ones you want to use every game instead of just random ones that you put in there. And that's also gonna make your loadout more expensive if you're just putting random stuff in there. So I like to, like I said, just keep one item in there, like one gun or 2 guns maybe, to keep it cheap and you can get it early on in the game. The next tip is going to be some contract knowledge. So there's going to be contracts placed around the map to help you get your money back, or zone circles, or some good loot, or even hexes for the in-game skin here. The first one we're going to do is the drone. You can find it, it's like the little drone icon on the map. And what that's going to do is going to place a drone on the map, and you have to go find it, and you have to shoot it down. When you do shoot it down, it's going to be a bunch of purple loot, so pretty good attachment weapons, and sometimes some pretty strong limbs as well. So like purple limbs are very OP in this game. Purple shotguns are very OP. So these are going to be some generally good contracts early game to get you some good loot early game to survive that. And the second contract we're going to go over is the hex collector. So it's going to give me a little box contract. It's going to place a hex vault on the map where you have to go up to it and hack it. It's going to be like a movement key system. So if it's an up arrow, you press W, or up on your stick, I think, and vice versa. So if it's down, you press down. Just do that until you get all of them, and then you're going to get a free hex to pop out, and you can take that to a hex collector and get a skin out of the game for you. This kind of negates the RNG on hexes because they're pretty rare to find in the boxes. So for our next tip, it's going to be more of a combat one. This is going to be a pretty short one, but a lot of people probably don't know about this. Shooting mid-air, you have no penalty, so what that means is your bullets don't go randomly, they still go to your crosshair. So it's going to be as if you're not moving, your bullets are going to go like directly straight, but you're going to be able to have your enemies not be able to track you as well, and also try to get some flashy kills like that. Next step we're going to go into is the power of shoulder transition in third-person games. This one you can use it to see doorways, just like Fortnite and PUBG and stuff like that. You can stand behind doorways and be able to see the doorway still. You can use it in combat, whereas like if you're fighting somebody on the other side of a door and let's say you're on your right shoulder, it's going to be impossible to shoot him unless you walk in the door. Whereas if you're on your left shoulder, you can kind of strafe into the doorway and be able to shoot him. And for the last tip of the video, it's going to be based on survivability. So in this game, there's two forms of consumables. You have the plates and you have the stims. Now, if you're in a fight and you lose all your plates and a bit of your health bar, you can obviously plate up. That's going to take about 3 seconds to put 3 plates in. Now your health bar is going to take 10 seconds to regenerate while you're out of combat. So to speed this up, you can put your plates on, then immediately switch over to your stims to enable your health to regen instantly and get back in the fight faster. Another way you can utilize this trick is if you're in the fire or someone else is using that trick with the goo in the fire, you can heal while you're inside the goo in the fire. So if I pop a stim right there, I can negate myself from dying. You can also pop plates in here. I would recommend stimming though, because wasting plates is kind of bad. But stimming in the fire can prevent you from dying. And as a side note to that, any source of damage you can heal through. So if you're getting shot at, you can plate. Whereas in Warzone, if you're getting shot at, you cannot plate, it'll cancel it. But in this game, you can plate and stim as you're getting shot at. Plating while you're running is a great defensive way to stay alive in this game. And that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys can utilize these tips and tricks in the game, in combat, and to help you guys win games. This is my first off the grid video, so I'm going to try to be pumping out more and trying to give you guys the best tips and the best tricks and the best ways to win games and extract the most loot. So stay tuned for that. Peace.